Everyone talks about the important things that you need on your gun, like a flashlight, a good optic, good bolt carrier, and even I've made videos like that, which you can see later after this video if you'd like. But today we're gonna be going over the 5 things that you need for your rifle, and some of these you probably didn't even know that you could get. I'm not in the business of wasting your time, so let's get right into this. So the first one you're gonna get is a light cap. So this has a handful of different uses. Some of them are not that important, some are a lot more important. The first one, which isn't as important, but is a nice bonus, when you're shooting a lot and your lens is uncovered, a lot of that carbon or buildup will get on that lens. It'll make it dirty, it won't be nearly as bright, and you'll have to make sure you're keeping it clean. Now, some people will use like chapstick or they'll use theorem lens covers, which do absolutely work, but this just works a little bit better because it has multiple purposes. The other purpose is if you turn on your light or accidentally press your light if you're searching a building or you're out in the open and you're searching and you accidentally turn that light on. Right now my light is on. You flip that open, as you can see, boom. Everybody can see where you're at now, but this prevents you from accidentally turning that on. Now, if you do want it on, obviously you just flip that over and then you can use your light like you normally would, but that just helps prevent an accidental discharge of your light when you didn't want it to. You know what I'm talking about. Now, the third and probably most important, or equally as important, is reflection. You'll notice I have my lens cover here, my cap up here. When somebody is looking towards your direction and you have all of these things open and they're flashing a light scanning, this is gonna reflect and this is gonna reflect and it's gonna give away your position really quickly and easily. You cover this up and you put this up, that's gonna prevent that from happening. Really big benefit that not a lot of people think about when getting something like these covers or these front covers here. Now you're gonna say, well, if you have that covered, you can't actually use your optic, so what's the benefit? If you're using both eyes open and you bring your optic up, you can still see your red dot with this eye and you can see everything else with this eye. So you should try, this is actually something a lot of people train with and they occlude that front lens with practicing. Now, if you're daylight time and you want to, you can just drop that down and use it how you would, but it is just a nice thing to have here to prevent that reflection. Real quickly, let's go over the companies that are incredibly helpful. That's Hold Up Display and Neomag. Hold Up Display are the racks you see behind me here. If you're interested in more information and how this room was built and all that, you can click the link here and check out that full video. But absolutely love these guys. And if you want to get some for yourself, you can email Tyler at holdupdisplay.com. Mention Tactical Advisor. It's going to save you a good amount on these systems. And they have a tier 5 system where that stacks on top of those savings as well. So you'll be able to have 2 different discounts through their website. So definitely check out Hold Up Display. It'll help you design your own specific area and setup, which is really, really cool. And Neomag, they are the ones that make the beltless carry that you're gonna see here in some of the B-roll. They make the Neomag itself where you can pull out an extra mag and carry that with you. Really liking what they've been doing over the years. I actually started with them when they only had one product, and that was the Neomag. Now they have a ton of different products, like the Alias system, and that entire unique system they use for concealed carry or belt carry, which is really, really cool. At least take a look at them and see what you think. I think you're going to like it, along with the Sentry Strap is something that I think is definitely a must for those of you that have a dedicated or purpose-driven gun. Second is going to be sling retention. Check that out. Keep that sling incredibly tight, close to your gun. And the benefit with that being is if you are storing this, especially like in your law enforcement scenario where you have that patrol rifle sitting in the locker right beside you, when you go to pull it out, you're not getting hung up on your sling trying to pull that and fight against that and getting frustrated. Everything's high and tight right here. And then when you actually want to use it, you just grab here, pull, and then you have access to your sling. So this is the Sentry Strap. This is from Neomag. This is the one that I use a lot of the time just because I really like the magnetic aspect of it. It flips and then it reconnects just like that really quickly. And if it doesn't connect to the magnet, it'll connect to your gun somewhere because it's a magnet and your gun's metal. So it connects back and isn't flying around. See, it just connects there. But this is the Sentry Strap. That's the one I use. Now, you don't have to buy a specific brand or type. You can literally just use a rubber band, or you can use them really with anything and be able just to retain that sling, keep it tight. Because if not, you know, obviously you want your sling. It's very, very important and definitely a must have. And is one of the things I go over in my video where I go over the must haves on an AR15, which definitely watch that video after this. But it just keeps everything tight and where you want it when you want to grab your gun and then need it. If you don't need it, then you can still use your gun without having to have that sling dangling around. You don't have to fish into it. It just prevents you from unnecessarily entangling of your sling. All right, we're on to 3. A lot of people say I talk too fast, but like I said, I'm not in the business of wasting you guys' time, so I try to get the information as quick as possible. And if you listen to me on 2 times, it really goes fast. So we've got a magnifier. This is a really, this one, I don't like this one. This one, you have to pull its tension. There's a lot of different ones. There's some just flip to the side, some flip down, which we'll be showing you here later. But a magnifier is just a really important little thing that you can add to your red dot to add to its versatility. Not only can it allow you to help you shoot more accurately farther, but allows you to gather more information at a distance. So usually the typical distance is a 3 times. So that gives you 3 times magnification, or you can go up to 5 times. I think 3 is a good distance, especially for a gun like this where you don't necessarily need to shoot super far, but you can get some pretty good magnifiers for a decent price. So some of them are fairly expensive, especially when you go to like the uni detachment stuff, you're looking close to $1,000 with the EOTech combination. But if you want to go with your cheaper ones like your Primary Arms, your Vortex, or like this from Mepro Light, you could save a lot more money and still use them. Now you do obviously lose some things like your eye relief is a little worse, and maybe the clarity, the mounting system, like this one's kind of annoying. But I do think a magnifier is a really good addition to a gun. Now let's hop into number 4, and that's gonna be grip storage on your gun. Now this is something people know about and they see and they're like, okay, I'm aware of it, but not a lot of people use it. I'm shocked with the amount of people that have grip storage on their gun that never actually use it. So where is the benefit and what do you actually put in that grip storage to help you if anything were to happen? So the biggest thing you can put in there is tools or extra batteries or like a cleaning cloth. Or what I've seen a lot of people do is they'll put an extra round in there just in case they need one more round, which is a little cheesy, but you know what? Do what you want with it, as long as you have the room, I guess, and it doesn't rattle around. One of the big things that I put into it that I think is incredibly important is the tools for my optic setup to be able to make them work. So I got an extra battery. I have a tool in there to be able to work on the adjustments if needed, if something goes off, and then I have a tool to remove that. Now, why would I want to remove this? So you see I have a nice optic setup here with an 8-point duty RDS with uni tactical goodies. I have a backup iron sight here, but I can't really use it because, I got the front one, that's good to go, but the back one's kind of impeded. So yeah, okay, I can remove my magnifier, quick detach that, now that comes up. But with this mount, I'm just looking at the back of the optic. If you have a tool in your grip storage, I can take these 2 screws out, remove that. Now if my optic goes down, I at least can still have a sighting solution. I'm using iron sights. Is it the best? No, but it's sure a lot better than not having anything and just being able to do some point aiming. But that is why you want to use your grip storage to the biggest benefit that you can. Now, I might be doing a full video on grip storage. I think it is important. I think it's something that needs touched on for sure because I don't think people use it to its biggest benefit. And the fact that, hey, my battery just went down. Oh, shoot, what do? Pop that out, put a new battery in. I have all the tools and the battery in there, and you're good to go. I don't even have to take everything off and run my iron sights. I can get back into it with my optic, which is the best choice. So grip storage, very cool. I'd love to hear in the description what you guys put in your grip storage. Do you put candy in there? I don't know, put Skittles in the thing. I don't care, put whatever you want, but grip storage is definitely something you want to start using. Last, but certainly not least, is the correct mount for your optic. This is something I see a lot of people are struggling with getting the correct one and not sure why they should go higher or lower or what the benefits are or if they even should get a different mount and just rock what they get. So this is a quick representation of showing you the different mounts and risers that we have. And you have your lower ones like you have here on this Vortex Defender that is clearly not on there very well. And then you have a little bit higher from your SIG. Then you have your 157, then your 193, and then your 226, which a lot of people think is just absolutely ridiculous, but it really does have a purpose, which we'll talk about here in a second, which I can't say too much because I got banned a couple weeks ago and I don't want to get banned again. And you say certain little things, they get you, they come after you. So the problem with these lower optics, and I see a lot of guys making this mistake, they will get an optic like this, they'll throw it on their gun, and the problem you have is you can't get a proper hold on this gun or a proper cheek well because this is where you should be sitting with your gun. With this optic, I can't see in that. So now you have to bend down and you have to look like this. And you can probably already see there's some things wrong with that. So you have to crunch down really low to be able to use that optic. And that's a problem. So that definitely has a purpose. There's other guns and styles where this makes sense, which I'll show you in some B-roll here are the guns that make sense, maybe some lever action styles and different things like that. But then you go up to something like this one on the SIG. But then you go to something like the Sig Sauer, a little bit higher, and that's better, but you're still crunched down quite a bit. I usually don't go any lower than a 157. Me personally, this is a ScaleWorks mount with the new Primary Arms with that solar panel on top. That one's a lot better. It gives you a lot higher of a cheek weld. You still get that good connection on your gun, but you're not crunched down into your gun. You can still sit up comfortably, and then you go up to your 193, which is probably my favorite if you're not using the nighttime tubey things that make you see at night, which I'm not allowed to say the name of. But between these two, it's really gonna come down to a personal preference of what you like, of how you like to hold your gun and what's more comfortable for you. Then you go up here to the 223 or 226, and people really have a problem with this. You see a lot of people having some issues with this kind of setup, and they throw a fit when they see them. Now, there's a reason for this. Is it goofy? Is it a little crazy high? Yes. You do kind of not get that good cheek well. It's more of a chin well when you're shooting like that. But where this comes into play is when you're running those cute little nighttime cylinders to see in the darky time. This thing really comes into play and helps you out being able to actually see through that, because you can't shove your helmet and everything down to see through these other ones. It's much more comfortable to use that taller optic. So that is why a lot of people are using those. Now people did just start using them for everything else as well, even if they have night vision or not, just because it's trendy. You get the Unity tactical stuff on there, so it makes you look cool, and that's half the battle, right? That's why people buy half the stuff they do, because it looks cool. This is the style of gun usually you're seeing those mounts on. So this is the Unity tactical riser with the Comp M5. Then you have an IR aiming device up front. You're able to see over that and still be able to use those nighttime things that you want to. And mounts can get a little carried away, like this setup here. This is the Jaeger, works with a diving board, and obviously again, there's reasons for it. You have your IR device and you're able to be able to use that for aiming, but these are a little bit crazier, a little more unique. And that's where people, when I start seeing these, they're like, what in the world? What Star Trek world are we living in that, it looks like the Star Trek ship flying around. But there's a purpose for them, but they definitely are a little goofy at first. And if you want to get real crazy, you add the magnifier to that, and now you have the extended boosters on the back of the ship. But I think adding a different mount and understanding the mount and why you're doing it is a good decision. As always, I hope this video was able to help you make a better purchase decision. I tried to get through those as quick as possible, give you the rundown really quick, but that's my goal. I want you to spend your money confidently, know what you're getting, and not buy it and then be like, now I regret it. I wish I wouldn't have wasted my money, and end up buying the thing that you actually wanted. So I hope these tips were helpful. I was going through the room and I was like thinking of little things. I was like, no one ever really talks about the little stuff that no one, like the not so fun or frilly stuff, like the flashlights, the optics, all that stuff's really cool and exciting, but no one talks about the other stuff. So I just want to touch on it real quick, and hopefully you guys appreciate that. I love you all. You guys are incredible. Thank you for being here for me after I got banned for a week, and that was a couple weeks ago, but I appreciate you guys being here and showing me some love. I'd love for you guys to check out all the people that are incredibly helpful, and How Is Their Clothing. They are an amazing brand. They donate 5% of proceeds to charity. I've been working with these guys for years. Absolutely love them. They have a Tactical Advisor shirt. Check that out. Wear it. Send me pictures of you guys wearing it. I love seeing you guys all wearing that thing. I do truly appreciate all of you, and I thank you for being here. I like to end on a Bible verse. I think it's a great way to end, and if it helps at least one person, I think it's totally worth it. So Ephesians 5:8, for at one time you were darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Walk as children of light. Incredibly powerful verse. I tell you what, get in the Bible, guys. Get that suit of armor on. It is incredibly important. The world's getting weird. It's not getting better. And having that relationship with God is incredibly important. So I'm going to share my testimony here soon. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much.